Hello, gorgeous Libran clan, and welcome to May 2020 and the powerful waters we are swimming through. And when I think about this month and the evolution of the energy when it comes to the Libran group, this is a really interesting time. Taurus, your fellow Venusian ruled energy, right? The sun is moving through Taurus, Uranus is moving through Taurus. These placements are all about that eighth house evolution revolution for you. And the beginning of May is always this beautiful time. It's the equal point between the equinox and the solstice. And it's especially in the northern hemisphere, there are all sorts of bonfire celebrations that go on April 30th and May 1st. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them. One of my favorite ones is the imagery of Beltane. And it made me think about the May Queen. When I thought about Libran energy, I thought about the May Queen. During this time of year, the beginning of May, she rises up from the underground where she's been in the winter, kind of ready to blaze a trail forward. You know, she is not messing around. She has a whole journey to do in that resurrection. She goes and finds the green man, the symbol of nature and growth and plant verdant beauty, and shears him and kills him and resurrects him, and then they unify as one beautiful whole with all of nature. Really powerful imagery. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because these eighth house placements, the sun moving through Taurus, Uranus moving through Taurus, this is a time of huge transformation for you all. And I feel like it's kind of like that experience of the May Queen coming up from underground, ready, the magician, right away. All right, yeah, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? There's an energy going on here of lighting something up this month. And I think the symbolism of the emerging from the darkness with greater light, greater clarity, greater path forward, emerging from the mystery, from the fog with greater clarity, right? And engaging in the mystery as a creative, empowering act. Strength. Beautiful. All right, we're getting right in there, right? Engaging with the mystery is the creative aspect of life. Now, what is going on in the sky? There's some really big things happening this month, actually. 6 of Pentacles. Love that. The north node of the moon is moving into Gemini, your fellow air sign, on May 5th. This is shifting everything, right? It has been in Cancer for about a year and a half, and the south node of the moon has been in Capricorn. Now we're shifting into north node in Gemini, south node in Sagittarius, and this is revolutionizing the way we see the world, the way we communicate what we see, bridging the way we have a paradigm about the world, changing that, shifting that, and then how do we storytell about that, right? And the north node in Gemini is honestly the magician. How do we cast spells with our words, right? So being in a fellow air sign, you're getting that huge burst of energy when it comes to your worldview, when it comes to how you're moving through the world, and looking at it in a very different way and having to learn a whole bunch of new skill sets, quite honestly. Judgment. That card loves its day in the sun right now because there's so much release and grace and forgiveness that we are doing of ourselves, of the past, of what we could have done at this point, what we should have done at this point, right? Judgment is always calling us to do that. This is also about that resurrection, right? We resurrect into our greatest, fullest power when we allow ourselves to commune with the mystery. So there's a lot of energy asking you to do that, but there's also this energy lighting up your creative voice. Now, not only do we have the north node of the moon moving into Gemini this month, but we also have the beginning of Venus retrograde. I'm really excited. We're going to be doing a lot of work. We're going to be doing a weekly check-in workshop ritual experience over on Patreon for all 6 weeks of the Venus retrograde and a closeout for it as well. I would love to see you over there if you're looking for more support. But Venus retrograde is happening in Gemini as well. So there's a ton of energy getting lit up in Gemini, which we haven't had for a little bit. It's been kind of quiet on the Gemini front for a little while. So suddenly we're having this communication energy lit up, right? Air sign energy lit up. 4 of Wands. And there's beautiful energy here for you all. I'm loving what I'm seeing for Libra right now because there's warmth. Page of Pentacles. All right. There's warmth, there's brightness. Okay, what other big things are happening? So we have the sun moving through your 8th house, then when it hits into Gemini, along with the North Node moving there, and Venus starting her retrograde, all of that energy is lighting up your 9th house. How you see the world, how you want to move through it. So you emerge from kind of the mystery, the fog of that Taurus season into greater clarity. So this month is kind of a big journey. A big skin shedding, an evolution from maybe feeling a little bit like you're digging through the Midnight Garden, 2 of Swords, into greater understanding of where it is that you are going. This month evolves quite rapidly. And as the month evolves as well, we start with a Venus retrograde, your ruling planet, right? So we haven't even gotten into that. Venus retrograde, ruling planet in your 9th house, you're reworking how you see the world. We also have other retrogrades happening. Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and Jupiter retrograde are all kicking off at this time, which means that our greatest power comes from behind the scenes and not so much in action taking, right? It's a very spiritual time. When planets are retrograde, they often, you always see the memes that when they go direct, this is your time to take action. This is your time to feel empowered. This is when things are good. I often find that when we are in retrograde, we're actually much closer to the real process, which is feeling and connecting with what it is that you want to feel and connect with, not just having and doing the motions, right? So this is a deeply spiritual time. Okay, 5 of Cups at the end. This is really interesting, you all. I pulled your 8 cards today, and it goes from this, there's this really creative, effervescent kind of energy working with you, into, at the very end, there's this bittersweetness and this uncertainty. And here's what I will say, because you have so much transformational energy working with you, including the fact that your ruling planet is going to be retrograde from the 13th of May until June 25th. There's a lot of evolution going on there. And whenever there's a big evolution, you have a whole bunch of things come in, maybe that are working in your favor and taking you somewhere new, and you are landing in that new consciousness. You do have some processing to do with that, because with every new wave comes a release of what was. So let's get into this, because you have a ton of catalytic change energy going on here that I think you have to incorporate somehow, right? So let's start off with Magician and Strength here, because right off the bat, some of the most golden, warm, major arcana energy you can possibly get. Wanted to just jump right into this reading. These are creators, right? They both have the infinity symbol. They are both deeply tapped into like that unity consciousness, understanding that creativity, pulling energy and having it in the world is a feeling state. It is a relaxed state. It is a channeling state, right? And not just literally like channeling your guides or whatever. This can look like not trying to fill in every single gap in your life, right? Not trying to be on your game all the time, but in emptying, creating some space, in not manhandling. I mean, even the Magician, the thing that's really interesting with him is he has all the tools, right? He has all elements in his toolkit: fire, earth, water, and air. He's all set up, but he's not in there messing with all the tools, right? He's standing as a conduit, allowing those things to go through. The same thing with the Strength card. She's gently holding the lion's mouth open, but she's not forcing the lion to be anything, right? She's not forcing. So there's no force in these cards, even though they are extremely powerful and do open doors and have things move when Magician and Strength are with you. They do. They move. Clarity comes in. Things happen. There's determination in these cards. But it comes from a really specific place of knowing within yourself, right? So this is an important time to recognize that changes are going to come that feel a little bit bigger than you, but also feel exactly as though they are from within you as well, both at the same time. Yeah. And this is also really interesting. This evolution for Librans this month, it has to do with engaging with the wildness within you, right? The Strength card, the lion within you, the magic within you that's a little bit scary, that maybe you felt you had to put on the back burner. You weren't allowed to take the time to tap into and understand and connect with so that it could transmute into something bigger. And that's what I'm seeing here. And even when you look at these next two cards, Six of Pentacles and Judgment, these are evening of the scales. And I don't like to get into like karma and, payback and evening everything up. It's not about that. It is about evening of the scales in grace, mercy, release, freedom, total freedom from, like I said, who you were in the past. We get so trapped by where we said, I should have known. I should have known better 6 months ago or 3 weeks ago. I should have done this. I should have done this because I haven't maybe been honest about this topic before. Maybe I'm never allowed to be honest about it again. Maybe I should be doing penance for it. Maybe I should be making up for it somehow. Maybe I should be doing this. Maybe I should be doing that. How do you even the scales? How do you calibrate the scales? You take off all these odds and ends and bits and bobs that no longer pertain to the present moment, right? So Six of Pentacles definitely is about evening give and receive. So if you're having a situation where either you don't have boundaries and you're overgiving, or you haven't been stepping up fully into something that you want to step fully into, this is going to be a time where that is asked of you. But the important thing here with that is that Judgment is going to say, you don't need to go over why it couldn't be one way or another in the past, what have you. This is a beautiful time for forgiveness, for release, for catharsis, and for freedom from that whole narrative arc. This is also a time where often we can do really great work with that inner child and the parts of ourselves that work from guilt and shame. Judgment wants to help us release all of that, kind of bring the phantoms of our past up and out. Here's where the May Queen burns these things out, right? She kills and resurrects the green man into a new life form. So there's huge transformation going on here. Like I said, you got to integrate that somehow. And that's where we'll get at the end of this reading. But now we have Four of Wands and Page of Pentacles. Now these are celebratory energies. You've gotten a lot of energy that is based on the warm golden spring and summer energies, harvest energies as well, all of those. So really, in the Northern Hemisphere, May through September, these months of vivid celebration, culmination, understanding, clarity, being out in the sun. Four of Wands, Page of Pentacles heralds in something to be celebrated, something to be enjoyed and loved. And I think the thing that I'm seeing from this is there's this big alchemical process, soul process going on, where we transmute all the boxes and categories and storylines that you have put on yourself before this month. That gets transmuted into more of this unity freedom that allows for new opportunity to come in. Now, the Four of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, for me, this is the kind of celebration, infusion of energy that you did not write for yourself. You didn't preconceive of what May was going to mean to you in the way that you thought it was going to be coming in, but it is still celebratory. It is still beautiful. It's just kind of foreign because it's suddenly like you're in this storyline and it feels right and it feels good and it's connecting with you and it's making sense, but you're still getting used to being in this storyline, in this particular version of it. So something beautiful is happening there. Yes, that's really good energy for relationship. There's a lot of really good relationship energy, healing in relationship, taking your relationships to the next level, and in your creative journey with yourself. All of those themes are coming up here. Really big, bold energy focusing on that. Now, Two of Swords and Five of Cups is an interesting ending, right? Because these are cards that are about ruminating over something, right? Looking back, overthinking, like both on the mental and the emotional, kind of living in the indecisiveness and the grief. Now, here's the thing. You're getting all these infusions of information, right? There's a lot of green lights here for understanding what's next and understanding how to work with that and taking what information you're getting and reformulating your paradigm so that you can work with it and move through the world forward with your kind of new shape and form, your new May Queen that has emerged from the underground. Who does she look like? What does she look like? And I think that amount of information and change always brings about a wave of this feeling. Now, don't let that discourage you. These cards are telling me it is important to take pauses, especially near the end of the month, as we get deeper into these retrogrades. And as we get deeper into the Gemini work we're doing and the Venus retrograde work we're doing, do not be afraid to take pauses and feel fully, both that you can't move on everything that you thought you needed to move on, and to feel that shift from one life to another. This is important. It's something not to be skipped. And it's something that we think that if we're feeling that way, then it means that we're feeding into things going badly. But we can have things going very well in many aspects of our life and still feel some grief and uncertainty. So I'm not surprised that's showing up, especially with the amount of change I see coming in for you. I wrote up some key words for April in this bowl or May in this bowl, and we are going to pull one for you for your overarching message today. Let's see what we have. Open heart. Open heart. I love that. I think this is a time of deep openness to letting what will help you the most come through you, right? The heart is this perceptual organ that really hears the call, right? It's a skill set we practice throughout life to be able to hear with the heart. And if you have open heart as your message this month, I want you to keep opening it. Despite, the mystery, the uncertainty, maybe some of the fears that are coming up, just keep opening your heart. Keep using that heart to listen, because you have these waves of things coming in that are very supportive of you. But if your heart's feeling closed down, if you feel like, I just can't, this isn't the time for me to have my heart open, I'm going to have my heart open at some more convenient time, which never actually shows up, because there's no more convenient time in the future to have your heart open. We always say that, but this is it, right? In the times where it feels the least like an objective to keep your heart open, like, how is that a priority right now? When I'm trying to survive, when I'm trying to understand, when I can't see, that's when it's the most important to keep your heart open. Also, you have so much energy here that is about love, that is about union, that is about communion, which is about forgiveness, which is about celebration, which is about culmination and tapping into a deeper, juicier part of life. So the more your heart is open, the more you'll actually be able to be present in that experience. So I love that too, because I think this is a time of big-heartedness for you all. This is a time of powerful illumination on that front. And all the shifts that we have going on, including this North Node shift and this Venusian work that we're doing, these are important calibrators that help us tap into a deeper truth and help us to love more deeply, help us to connect more deeply. And like I said, we are going to go deep on Venus retrograde. I'm so excited to start that series when it kicks off in a few weeks. So I would highly recommend you come and join me. We are going to have so much fun over there. You can also work one-on-one with me. Right now, I'm still working on my June calendar, so keep an eye out for my bookings. I will leave my link below so that you can stay informed. So I'll leave all my Patreon and my website booking below. You can also find me on Instagram at Sarah Verba. I would love to see you over there as well. And of course, I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. I'm wearing her brass jewelry right now, so you can go check out her shop as well. She makes beautiful stuff. I will see you all for more moon magics. We got a Scorpio full moon this month, and we have a Gemini new moon this month, so we are going to be working with some very investigative energy. So I'm excited to do that, and I will see you all so soon. I'm sending you all my love, my Libra friends.